What if growing older didn't mean growing sicker? What if the heart attack, the stroke, the diabetes diagnosis, the high blood pressure, what if none of these were guaranteed parts of getting older, but rather preventable outcomes? What if the power to protect your health was still in your hands right now? Today, we're diving into one of the most misunderstood truths about aging, that chronic diseases are not an automatic part of life. After 60, they are often the result of habits we can change. In the next hour, we'll walk you through the real stories of seniors who've reclaimed their health. We'll explore proven ways to prevent common conditions like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, and more. You'll learn how small changes in what you eat, how you move, and how you manage stress can make a life-saving difference. And most of all, you'll see why it's never too late to take control of your health. So don't go anywhere. What you learn today could help you or someone you love age with strength, freedom, and dignity. Chronic diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, and chronic kidney disease are the leading causes of illness, disability, and death among older adults. In fact, according to the CDC, more than 80% of adults aged 65 and older live with at least one chronic health condition. More than two-thirds live with two or more. And it's not just about statistics. It's about real lives. Imagine Margaret, 76 years old. She used to think her daily fatigue and aching joints were just signs of normal aging. She believed her rising blood sugar was just something she'd have to live with. But after one minor heart scare and a tough conversation with her doctor, Margaret made a few small but powerful changes. She added more greens and fewer processed foods to her meals. She started taking 15-minute walks 3 times a week. She learned deep breathing techniques to help with stress and anxiety. 6 months later, her blood pressure is down, her energy is up, and her risk of serious illness has dropped dramatically. Margaret's story is not rare and it's not magic. It's prevention in action. You see, aging does come with biological changes like slower metabolism, reduced muscle mass, and shifts in hormone levels that can increase vulnerability to disease. But those changes are not destiny. According to the World Health Organization, at least 80% of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes cases could be prevented through lifestyle changes. So why do so many older adults still suffer from preventable diseases? Sometimes it's misinformation. Sometimes it's because change feels overwhelming. And often, it's because no one ever told them that prevention works even after 60, 70, or 80 years of age. The truth is, what you eat can either fuel inflammation or fight it. Movement, even gentle movement, can protect your brain, your bones, and your heart. Managing stress and getting quality sleep can be as powerful as any prescription. And seeing your doctor regularly, even when you feel fine, can detect warning signs before they become health crises. This video will guide you, step by step, through the most effective, realistic, and science-backed strategies for preventing chronic illnesses in older age. No fads, no extremes, just smart, compassionate, medically supported guidance. You'll learn why these diseases target older adults more often, what daily choices make the biggest difference, how to adapt your environment and habits to support your health, and how to stay motivated even when it's hard. Because prevention isn't about living forever. It's about living better, with fewer pills, fewer hospital visits, and more days filled with energy, clarity, and peace. Let's begin. Before we talk about preventing chronic diseases, we need to understand what they are and why they're so common in older adults. A chronic disease is a condition that lasts a year or more, requires ongoing medical attention, and can limit daily activities. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), chronic diseases are the leading cause of death and disability in the United States and in similar health systems across Canada, the UK, and Australia. They don't appear overnight. They develop gradually, often without symptoms at first. That's what makes them so dangerous. The most common chronic diseases in older adults include high blood pressure, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, chronic kidney disease, and certain types of cancer. But why are older adults more vulnerable? As we age, our bodies go through changes. Blood vessels become stiffer, making the heart work harder. Muscle mass decreases, affecting strength and metabolism. Hormonal changes can impact blood sugar and fat storage. The immune system weakens, reducing the body's ability to fight off damage. These natural shifts don't cause disease by themselves, but they do make the body more susceptible. And when combined with years of unhealthy habits, chronic conditions often begin to emerge. Let's meet Robert, 68 years old. Robert worked as a bus driver for nearly 4 decades. He rarely had time for exercise. Most of his meals were quick, processed, and eaten on the go. He always figured he'd slow down after retirement. By the time he retired, Robert was 40 pounds overweight, had high blood pressure, borderline diabetes, and frequent knee pain from arthritis. He assumed it was all just part of aging, but after a routine checkup showed dangerously high blood sugar, his doctor warned him, "You're not just getting older, you're getting sicker, and it's preventable." This was a turning point. Chronic diseases are often silent at first. You might feel a little tired, notice some weight gain, or get out of breath more easily. These early signs are easy to ignore or blame on age, but they matter because chronic conditions tend to build on one another. High blood pressure increases the risk of stroke. Diabetes raises the risk of heart disease. Inflammation from arthritis can affect more than just your joints. And once you have one chronic illness, your risk for developing more rises sharply. In fact, according to the National Council on Aging in COA, 77% of older adults with chronic illness have at least 2 or more conditions. This is known as multimorbidity, and it makes health management much more complex. Medications multiply, doctors' visits increase, independence can decline. The emotional toll is real. Many older adults with chronic illness also experience depression and anxiety. But here's the most important takeaway. These diseases are not random. They are strongly linked to behavior. According to the World Health Organization (WHO), the 4 main risk factors for chronic disease are 1. Poor nutrition, 2. Physical inactivity, 3. Tobacco use, 4. Excessive alcohol consumption, and while age is a risk factor, we can't change habits are. This means that even if you've lived decades without thinking much about health, there is still time to make a difference. And the body, even in later life, can respond positively to change. In the next sections, we'll look closely at the most powerful areas where you can take action, starting with what's on your plate. But before we move on, ask yourself, are the symptoms I've been calling just aging actually signs of something preventable? Are there small steps I've been avoiding because they seemed too late to start? Because the truth is your age does not define your health future. Your choices do. If there's one habit that can radically reduce your risk of chronic disease, it's what you eat. Food isn't just fuel, it's information for your cells. Every bite you take sends a message: to inflame or to heal, to raise blood pressure or to lower it, to spike blood sugar or to stabilize it. And for older adults, these signals matter more than ever. Let's start with the facts. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 70% of Americans aged 65 and older have high blood pressure, and over 25% are living with diabetes, most of them type 2. In the UK, 1 in 10 adults over 65 is diabetic. These are staggering numbers. But here's what many don't realize: these diseases are not inevitable. They are deeply connected to what's on your plate. Let's take Helen, age 71, a retired librarian. She lived alone and loved her morning routine: coffee with cream, white toast with jam, and orange juice. It felt like comfort. But after a routine checkup, her doctor delivered a quiet warning: you're pre-diabetic. You have two choices: medication or a lifestyle change. Helen paused. She didn't feel sick, but she remembered her mother's long struggle with insulin injections and vision loss. She didn't want that future, so she chose food. Working with a nutritionist, she started small. She swapped her white bread for whole grain, traded sugary juice for water with lemon, added spinach and eggs to breakfast twice a week. She even tried roasted chickpeas for snacks instead of crackers. At first, it wasn't easy. She missed the taste. She had cravings. One afternoon, she almost gave up and bought a pack of cookies just to feel normal again. But she kept going. After 12 weeks, her blood sugar dropped. Her doctor smiled. No medication needed. And more importantly, Helen felt good. Her energy returned. Her digestion improved. Her skin looked brighter. She didn't follow a fad. She followed science. One of the most well-researched patterns for preventing hypertension and diabetes is the DASH diet, short for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. Created by researchers and supported by the National Institutes of Health, this eating plan is ideal for older adults. It emphasizes fruits and vegetables, especially leafy greens, berries, and cruciferous veggies like broccoli, whole grains like oats, brown rice, and barley, lean proteins such as fish, skinless poultry, beans, and lentils, healthy fats, including olive oil, nuts, and seeds, low-fat dairy, like plain yogurt and milk, and a key detail: reduced sodium less than 1,500 milligrams per day. Why sodium? Because salt is directly linked to high blood pressure, and most people, especially older adults, eat double the recommended amount without realizing it. It's hidden in canned soups, deli meats, breads, cheeses, and even breakfast cereals. A diet high in processed foods common in fast-paced, low-budget households contributes not just to hypertension, but also to inflammation, high cholesterol, and weight gain. Now let's be honest. Changing your diet after 60, 70, or 80 years of routine is not simple. Many older adults face real barriers. Fixed incomes make fresh produce feel out of reach. Mobility issues make grocery shopping harder. Emotional eating, grief, and loneliness all influence food choices. And let's not forget, food is culture. Food is memory. That's why the goal is never perfection. It's progress. Here are realistic steps anyone can take starting today. 1. Add before you subtract. Don't think only about what to remove. Start by adding more colors to your plate: carrots, spinach, bell peppers, blueberries. 2. Drink water first. Sometimes we eat when we're actually thirsty. Make a habit of drinking a glass of water before meals. 3. Read labels slowly. Focus on sodium and added sugars. Try to stay under 5 grams of added sugar per serving and avoid anything with more than 300 milligrams of sodium. 4. Keep healthy snacks visible. A bowl of fruit on the counter beats cookies in the cupboard. 5. Cook once, eat twice. Make a big pot of vegetable soup or lentil stew and freeze portions for the week. 6. Join others. Eating with people, even virtually, encourages healthier choices and lifts mood. And if you feel unsure, ask for help. In the U.S., Medicare covers visits with a registered dietitian for people with diabetes or kidney disease. In the UK, the NHS offers dietary support for seniors through local clinics. In Canada and Australia, many provinces and territories fund nutrition programs for older adults, including community cooking classes and grocery delivery for low-income seniors. Even small changes, one meal at a time, can reduce inflammation, improve blood pressure, and prevent spikes in blood sugar. The body responds at any age. And maybe the most beautiful part: healthy food isn't just about disease prevention. It's about energy to play with grandkids, clarity to enjoy conversations, mobility to walk in the park, confidence to age on your own terms. Let Helen's journey remind you: the next bite you take could be the one that brings your health back into your own hands. When we think about preventing chronic disease, many people jump straight to diet, and rightly so. But there's another tool that's just as powerful. It doesn't come in a bottle. It doesn't require a prescription. It's free, accessible, and scientifically proven to protect your heart, brain, lungs, bones, and even your mood. It's movement. Let's be clear. Movement doesn't mean running marathons or lifting heavy weights at the gym. For older adults, even moderate, regular activity can be life-changing and life-saving. The science is overwhelming. According to the World Health Organization, physical inactivity is responsible for over 3 million deaths globally each year. And yet, among adults over 65, nearly 30% remain completely inactive, especially those living with chronic illness or mobility issues. Why is that a problem? Because sedentary behavior accelerates almost every disease process associated with aging. Here's how: it reduces circulation, increasing the risk of blood clots and heart disease. It weakens the muscles that support balance, posture, and breathing. It contributes to insulin resistance, worsening diabetes. It increases joint stiffness and pain in conditions like arthritis. And it impacts the brain, raising the risk of depression, anxiety, and even dementia. Now meet Walter, 74 years old. After retiring from construction, Walter slowly became less active. "I earned my rest," he joked. But that rest turned into long hours sitting watching TV, reading, napping. Over time, his blood pressure crept up. His legs felt heavier. He struggled with energy and sleep. His doctor warned, "Your heart is strong, but it won't stay that way if you don't move it." Walter didn't know where to begin. The gym felt intimidating. Walking felt boring. His knees ached. So his doctor offered a starting point: 10 minutes a day. Walter began walking around the block once in the morning, once after dinner. He used a walking stick to support his knees. He listened to jazz in headphones to make it enjoyable. After 2 weeks, he felt steadier. After a month, he walked 15 minutes without stopping. After 3 months, he'd lost 8 pounds and reduced his blood pressure medication. Movement changed Walter's life, and it can change yours. According to the National Institute on Aging, older adults should aim for 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity aerobic activity like brisk walking, dancing, or swimming. 2 or more days per week of strength training, daily balance and flexibility exercises, especially to prevent falls, but don't let the numbers intimidate you. Any movement is better than none, and the key is to start where you are. Here are practical ways to build movement into daily life. 1. Walking with purpose, to the mailbox, around the kitchen, or through a local park. 2. Chair exercises, gentle stretches and leg lifts while watching TV. 3. Strength at home, using water bottles or canned goods as weights. 4. Balance practice, standing on one leg near a counter. 5. Dance, turn on music from your youth and move for joy. 6. Group classes. Many community centers offer free or low-cost senior fitness programs like Tai Chi, chair yoga, or aqua aerobics. And if pain or disability is a barrier, talk to your doctor or physical therapist. There are movement routines for every level of ability, including those with arthritis, joint replacements, or Parkinson's disease. In the UK, the NHS Move It campaign provides free resources and videos for seniors to exercise safely at home. In Canada and Australia, public health clinics offer personalized plans for older adults with limited mobility. What matters most isn't intensity, it's consistency. Even 5 minutes of daily movement can improve circulation, reduce stiffness, lift mood, and build confidence. Because movement isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's a reminder that you're alive, capable, and in motion. So ask yourself, what could you gain by getting up and moving today? For Walter, it was freedom. For you, it might be energy, clarity, sleep, or strength. No matter your age or ability, your body was made to move. And when it does, it heals. What if one of the most powerful influences on your physical health was your emotional state? What if your heart, your blood pressure, your immune system, and even your memory could all be affected not just by what you eat or how you move, but by how you feel? It may sound surprising, but science is clear. Mental and physical health are deeply connected. And in older adults, that connection becomes even more critical. Let's start with stress. Stress isn't just an emotion, it's a physical event. When you feel overwhelmed, afraid, lonely, or anxious, your body produces cortisol and adrenaline hormones designed to help you survive danger. But in modern life, especially for seniors facing grief, isolation, or health uncertainty, this response can become chronic. And chronic stress is dangerous. It raises blood pressure, it disrupts sleep, it increases inflammation, weakens the immune system, and even impairs memory. According to the National Institutes of Health, long-term stress in older adults is linked to higher risk of hypertension and heart disease, poorer control of blood sugar and diabetes, greater likelihood of depression and anxiety, faster cognitive decline, and increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. How do we fight something so invisible? Let's meet Amira, a 78-year-old widow living alone. After her husband passed, Amira stayed mostly at home. She stopped attending her book club, skipped family gatherings, and rarely answered her phone. At first, she told herself she was just tired, but her appetite declined. Her blood pressure rose. Her doctor noticed she was losing weight and seemed withdrawn. He didn't prescribe a pill, he prescribed connection. He encouraged Amira to try guided meditation and referred her to a local grief support group. She started slow, just listening to short breathing exercises in the morning. Then she joined a weekly community garden program, where she met other seniors with similar stories. After a few months, her blood pressure stabilized, her appetite returned, and her face softened when she spoke, no longer heavy with sadness. Because Amira learned what many discover too late: you cannot heal the body if you ignore the mind. So, what can you do to protect your emotional well-being and, in turn, your physical health? Here are evidence-based strategies. 1. Practice daily relaxation. Just 5 to 10 minutes of deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or guided imagery can lower cortisol levels and reduce blood pressure. Many free apps like Calm or Insight Timer offer sessions specifically for seniors. 2. Maintain social connection. Loneliness is as dangerous as smoking, according to research by the National Institute on Aging. Reach out to a friend. Join a local senior group. Even brief conversations can improve mood and immune response. 3. Move your body. Exercise boosts endorphins, natural mood lifters. Just a daily walk or light stretching can relieve anxiety and help with sleep. 4. Create a routine. Structure creates stability. Waking up, eating, moving, and relaxing at regular times can ground the mind and improve sleep and digestion. 5. Limit news intake. Constant exposure to distressing news increases tension. Stay informed but take breaks. Read a book. Listen to music. Go outside. 6. Seek professional support. Counseling isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Many health systems, including the NHS and Medicare, cover therapy for seniors, including telehealth options. And most importantly, give yourself compassion. Aging brings changes. Some days will be hard. You may feel sadness, frustration, or fear. These emotions are valid, but they don't have to control you. Mental wellness is not about feeling happy all the time. It's about resilience, your ability to recover, to reach out, to keep going. Because stress will come, but so can peace. Like Amira, you can find ways to soothe your mind, open your heart, and protect your health inside and out. Your body is listening to your emotions. So ask yourself, what do I need, not just to survive but to feel whole? Imagine if you could stop a disease before it ever truly began. No symptoms, no crisis, just quiet, early action that prevents something serious from taking root. This is the power of routine health screenings, a critical but often overlooked part of aging well. Because the truth is, many chronic illnesses are silent in their early stages. You don't feel your blood pressure rising. You don't feel cholesterol building up in your arteries. You don't notice kidney function declining or bones becoming thinner until it's too late. But with regular checkups and basic lab tests, you can catch these changes early when they're most treatable. Let's meet George, age 69. George considered himself healthy. He walked every morning, ate decently, and didn't smoke. He hadn't seen a doctor in over 3 years because, in his words, I felt fine. But one day, while helping his granddaughter move boxes, George felt dizzy and short of breath. His wife insisted he get checked. At the clinic, they discovered his blood pressure was 180/110, dangerously high. He also had elevated cholesterol and signs of prediabetes. He was shocked. "I had no idea," he said. "That's the thing about chronic conditions. They're slow, quiet, and patient." George started treatment immediately: lifestyle changes, a low-dose medication, and regular monitoring. Within months, his numbers improved. But he never forgot how close he came to a crisis he didn't see coming. Routine care saved George's life. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, preventive services like screenings, vaccinations, and counseling can prevent 7 out of 10 deaths from chronic diseases. And yet, many older adults miss or delay these appointments, especially after retirement. Some think, "If I feel fine, why go to the doctor?" Others fear bad news or worry about costs. But avoidance comes at a high price. So what should you be checking and how often? Here's a breakdown of essential screenings for adults over 60, based on guidance from the CDC, NIH, NHS, and National Geriatric Societies. Blood pressure check, blood glucose test, lipid panel, cholesterol, kidney function test, EGFR and creatinine, bone density, skin, DEXA, colorectal cancer screening, vision and hearing checks, vaccinations. Many health systems, including Medicare, NHS, and provincial health plans in Canada and Australia, cover these services with little or no out-of-pocket cost. There's also growing access to mobile clinics, telemedicine, and at-home testing kits for those with mobility issues. But just having access isn't enough. It takes intentionality, a decision to be proactive, even when nothing feels wrong. Because in healthcare, waiting for symptoms often means you've waited too long. So here's a practical guide. Schedule your annual physical every year on your birthday. It's an easy reminder. Keep a health folder with your test results, medications, and questions. Bring someone you trust to appointments. They can help take notes and ask the right questions. Ask, don't guess. If you're unsure about a symptom, test, or treatment, speak up. Preventive care is not about fear, it's about freedom. The freedom to catch illness early. The freedom to adjust course. The freedom to keep living life on your terms. So ask yourself, when was the last time you had a full checkup, not because you were sick, but because you wanted to stay well? You deserve to know what's happening inside your body before it becomes a crisis. Prevention isn't just wise, it's powerful. By now, we've explored the major pillars of chronic disease prevention: nutrition, movement, stress management, routine medical care. But here's the real challenge. How do you make these changes last? How do you build new habits that actually stick, especially when life is already full of responsibilities, fatigue, or even pain? The answer isn't about willpower. It's about creating a lifestyle that feels realistic, repeatable, and rewarding. Let's meet Dolores, age 82. After a minor stroke, Dolores was told to change everything: her diet, her activity level, her medication routine. At first, it was overwhelming. She cried after her first attempt at meal planning. "This is too much," she said. But instead of giving up, Dolores did something powerful. She started small. She added just 1 glass of water to her morning. She walked to the mailbox and back every afternoon. She set reminders on her phone to take her pills. She swapped out her favorite salty snack for roasted nuts just on Tuesdays. And every Sunday, she called her daughter not to talk about health, but to laugh. Within months, her blood pressure was stable. She had more energy. She didn't feel perfect, but she felt capable. Because sustainable change is not about changing everything. It's about changing one thing at a time. So what does that look like for you? Here's a guide to building a health-supportive routine, step by step. Step 1. Choose just one habit to start. Pick something that feels manageable, not what you should do, but what you're ready to do. Example, replace one processed snack per day with a piece of fruit. Example, stretch for 5 minutes before bed. Example, schedule one checkup this month. Step 2. Make it visible and convenient. Set cues to remind you. Leave a water bottle on the table. Keep walking shoes by the door. Use sticky notes, timers, or phone alarms. Step 3. Link it to something you already do. This builds consistency. Do breathing exercises right after brushing your teeth. Walk during your favorite radio program. Meditate after your morning tea. Step 4. Celebrate every small success. Progress is power. Mark a calendar. Share your wins with a friend. Treat yourself with something that aligns with your goal. Step 5. Be flexible. Not perfect. Life happens. You'll miss days. You'll feel discouraged. The key is to resume, not restart. One setback doesn't undo all your effort. Behavior change is not linear, especially in older adulthood. Energy levels fluctuate. Family needs arise. Illness can interrupt progress. That's why kindness to yourself is essential. Progress is built on persistence, not pressure. And don't be afraid to seek support. Ask your doctor for referrals to physical therapists or dietitians. Join a walking group, community cooking class, or local senior center. Use technology, apps for medication reminders, online wellness groups, telehealth check-ins. In the UK, programs like 1U help older adults make step-by-step changes. In the US, the National Council on Aging and COA provides toolkits for healthy aging. Similar initiatives exist across Canada and Australia, many free and local. But beyond tools and trackers, perhaps the most powerful motivator is purpose. When Dolores was asked what kept her going, she didn't mention numbers or charts. She said, "I want to be here for my great-granddaughter's graduation. That's my why." So what's yours? Maybe it's walking unaided. Maybe it's dancing again. Maybe it's just waking up each day feeling a little stronger, a little clearer. You don't need to transform your life in one leap. You just need to take one more step than yesterday. And when those small steps become routine, when they no longer feel like effort, but like rhythm, you'll realize something profound. You didn't just add years to your life. You added life to your years. As we come to the end of this journey, take a moment to breathe. You've just learned how chronic illnesses like heart disease, diabetes, hypertension, and more are not inevitable parts of aging, but often the result of small, repeated choices. You've seen that prevention is not a miracle, it's methodical. It's built on what you eat, how you move, how you manage stress, and how often you check in with your doctor. And more than anything, you've discovered that it's never too late to begin. Helen changed her diet at 71. Walter began walking at 74. Amira reopened her heart to connection at 78. George caught his silent hypertension before it became a stroke. Dolores rebuilt her routine one habit at a time at 82. These stories are not unusual. They are not lucky. They are the result of quiet courage, slow steps, and deep intention. Aging is not about giving up. It's about adjusting, learning, adapting. And prevention is not just about avoiding disease, it's about protecting your freedom. Freedom to walk without fear, to think with clarity, to live in your own home, on your own terms, to enjoy grandchildren, laughter, music, and quiet mornings with coffee. You may not control every factor in your health, but you control more than you think. So let this be your invitation, not to change everything overnight, but to choose one thing today: a glass of water, a 5-minute walk, a call to a friend, a visit to your doctor, and let tomorrow build on today, and next week build on that. Because the habits you nurture now can shape the next 10 years of your life. And that life, it still holds joy, movement, purpose, connection. So as this video ends, ask yourself, what kind of life do I want to live from here on? The tools are here. The time is now. And the next chapter of your health story is waiting to be written by you.